Hello and welcome to this December 14th, 2010 video version of InvestEd Central's Chart of the Day. I'm Tom Boley, InvestEd Central's Chief Market Strategist, and it's my pleasure to provide you today's Chart of the Day. This Chart of the Day is brought to you by StockCharts.com, simply the web's best financial charts. Today we're taking a look at Telecommunications Systems Inc., ticker symbol TSYS. This is a small $229 million technology company. Taking a look at the chart, you can see that we were in a pretty significant downtrend for a number of months. On TSYS, the stock was trading up over $8 back in April, ran all the way down to $3 in August. You can see that the MACD was starting to show some pretty decent signs back in July and then again in August. And then we came off of the bottom, broke above the 50-day moving average, came back down, tested the 20-day moving average, and then had what I think is a very, very powerful candlestick with the gap up in early October to $4.22, I believe the number was. But take a look at the volume bar this particular day. Traded about 9.5 million shares, which is just a huge number of shares for TSYS. And on those shares, we gapped up to $4.22, ran all the way up to about $5.40 that day, and still closed up near $4.85 or $4.90. So a very, very solid breakaway gap type of a candlestick. We continued over the next few days moving up, and I've highlighted this area here in blue so that you can see the amount of volume here that accompanied this push to the upside. Many of these days were 2 million shares and higher. We had one other day that was about 4.5 million shares, then of course 9.5 million the day of the initial breakaway gap. So very, very strong volume on this push to the upside. We came back down. We made one more attempt at a higher high. You can see pretty good volume also accompanying that, but this breakout was intraday and we failed to hold it into the close, and then you can see the MACD had turned down. So we had some slowing momentum, false breakout on heavy volume, so there was a lot of volume that accompanied this intraday breakout, but then by the end of the day it had failed into the close. We gapped down the next day, and really we've just been in this downtrend since. I give it a little bit of maybe a little bit of a pass here on the breakdown below the 50-day moving average. You can see volume was very, very light on this move down here, and even the selling that took place over the last couple weeks, coming down off of the 20-day and coming back down. Normally I wouldn't like this kind of behavior, but because we have such a key price support level underneath here, I do think that TSYS could rally from this level. Now 422 is going to be the key area. I think a couple of days ago we went down to about 418 intraday, but we have yet to close beneath this 422 level. So I would be watching that as my key area. In fact, entering from the current price down to 422 is not a bad strategy. The prior high before the gap up, which is down, it looks like around 405 area, I would maybe give it a little bit of room down to there as in terms of a closing stop. But I would really expect to see TSYS turn from here. This is where the buying on heavy volume began back in early October, and now that we've drifted all the way back, I would expect to see buyers step in to support the stock at this level. The other thing is we've got stochastics now down at 14. We've been oversold mostly for the last few weeks, which also bodes well for a stock after making a huge push. It's nice to get it on lighter volume as it becomes oversold, as opposed to trying to chase it in a rally to the upside. Now the MACD I'm not excited about, but again, I think this takes a backseat to the fact that we have excellent price support in terms of this gap, and then just below at this 405 area. I think the 422 to 405 area is going to be key to TSYS, now at least in the near term. Now back to the upside, we got the 20-day we've got to negotiate, then of course the 50-day and the 200-day, but ultimately I do expect TSYS to move back towards this high up near $5.80. Obviously I like the reward to risk on TSYS here. I hope you've enjoyed our presentation today. Be sure to check out our chart of the day every day at investedcentral.com. While you're there, sign up for our free weekly Market Pulse newsletter and have the chart of the day emailed directly to you. Happy trading.